He even consulted AI to ask, how can I be more emotional? Oh my gosh, for the love of God, go speak to a professional. You're talking to ChatGPT? You talking to Gemini? You talking to Claude? Gronk? Be so for real. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie. For those who don't know me, reviewing Love is Blind Sweden Season 3, Episodes 10 and 11. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. So we are picking up with, I always want to call him Sergio. We're picking up with Daniel and Joanna because we know that they had that weird interaction after he was complaining about her on the phone to one of his friends. So he tries to fix his statement about wanting to go back to the military service because it would be easier, and says, yes, the experiment is more difficult than my time in the military. However, it's worth it because I met you. Joanna ain't buying that. Nobody's buying that. Like, I don't know why he thought that that was going to fix what he said. She also heard everything else he said about her on the phone. So yeah, nice try, you thought. He's out here, annoyed that the conversation about the recording came up because they agreed that they weren't going to talk about it. But I'm glad that they did talk about it because now we're catching him in a lie, right? So he told the girls that he told her straight up, I'm going to record this, because she had said, oh, I wish we could record this, not actually saying, I want this recorded, right? He now admits that he only told her after the conversation was done that he was recording. So already we caught you in a lie. So then he's going to keep going on and on about the fact that they shouldn't have had the conversation because they agreed that they wouldn't talk about it. But then he also, this is a pattern with him now. It's like he doesn't let her actually say how she feels. And when she does say how she feels, he doesn't ever validate her. And it's just a weird, controlling, manipulative situation, right? And then he does a 180. And he's now calling her sweetheart. And he's just so happy that he gets to be in this experiment with her. And he just wishes that they can keep talking about stuff. And she's like, we're going around in circles. There's no point in us talking if we're not getting anywhere. We're not reaching some kind of resolve, right? So she decides, you know what? I'm going to go to my mom's because this is obviously a weird situation. He's, still trying to say, no, don't go. No, let's work on it. Let's work on it. Before she even leaves the apartment, he calls his friend. I don't know if it's the same friend or somebody else. And he starts complaining about her while she's still in the apartment. He is a scary man. The way that he's able to be Jekyll and Hyde. He uses her emotions against her, but simultaneously doesn't allow her to express her emotions to her fullest. Yeah, when he would suppress his feelings, that was the time where he was the most bearable. Ibrahim and Angela talk about him moving and potentially leaving his job, which is becoming a bigger issue because Ibrahim is becoming more and more hesitant when in the pods, he made it seem like it wasn't going to be a problem. Now, I side with both people because I feel like they both have valid points. So with Angela, she's confused because he said, I don't mind moving. I don't mind changing jobs. I'll do that for my wife. But now when faced with the reality, he's backtracking and she's like, well, that's not what we agreed on. You made it seem like moving to Stockholm, changing jobs wasn't going to be a big deal. And now you're making it seem like it's a big deal. So I do understand that if he wasn't in a position to abruptly leave, then don't make it seem like that's what it is. And if you're not so comfortable leaving your comfortability, leaving your job, leaving your home, then don't make it seem like that's what it is. On the other hand, with Ibrahim, Angela has to understand that it's not going to be a cut and dry situation like, oh yeah, you want to get married? I just met you a month ago. Sure, I'll leave my job. I'll leave my home. I'll leave my community. That's not a problem. And I'll do it in a matter of weeks. Like, whoa. He needs time to process. He needs time to put his affairs in order. I feel like that should be intuitive. You should know that that makes sense, right? Where he loses me is now he's saying that to end his residency, because he's a doctor, to end his residency would actually take 3 months notice or something like that. If you knew that, you should have said this in the pods, okay? But then even now with the 3-month residency, he's adding more time to it because he then still needs time to find a job where he's going, which all makes sense, but you should have expressed that. I think she should have understood that, but he also should have been more transparent about how difficult it was going to be for him to leave the job and find a new job logistically, but also how he's going to feel about that. That's not an easy thing to do on a whim. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I do think that they both make valid points. I wish that she was a bit more understanding to what he's going through. And I wish that he was more transparent about the reality of what he's about to go through. The conversation ends because at this point he had said, you're not the one who has to uproot your life, which is valid. I don't think that she's deeping how difficult this would be because she's not the one who has to do it. They do have another conversation where she apologizes for being moody. And she says at the end of the day, he's the one that she wants to be with. So if it takes a little bit longer than what she expected, she's willing to, stick it out. Here's my thing with Ibrahim. The thing is, she's basing her decision off of what you told her in the pods. And one could argue that if you would have told her something different, she would have made a different decision. If you would have said, yeah, moving to Stockholm is not something that I'm keen to do, at least not right away. Changing jobs is going to take a long time for me, all that kind of stuff. One could argue that that would have deterred her from wanting to pursue that relationship. But because they had a good connection in her perspective, whatever, and he had affirmed her in those ways to say, yeah, moving is not a problem, changing jobs is not a problem, she then chose you because of what you told her. Next time, let's be honest about the reality of the situation. Rania asks Lars Eric how he felt seeing Danette, and he's honest. He says, yeah, it was a little bit weird. I'm here celebrating my engagement, but I'm also seeing another person who I could have been engaged to. It's an awkward feeling, right? But I am going to focus on my relationship. I'm not dwelling on the what ifs. She keeps asking him questions like, oh, are you sure you don't regret it? Are you sure you don't think things could have been different and all that kind of stuff? He's like, no, I made my decision. There's a reason why I made my decision. I'm not going to keep pondering on what could have been different with somebody else. Would it have been easier? Maybe, because we share the same faith. But the reality is I'm with you. So I want to make it work with you. Because she keeps inquiring about Danette, he's starting to think that she's making excuses to want to end this relationship. And again, similar to what I said before, are they excuses? By definition, yes. But she needs to be asking these things. Do you think it would have been better with somebody who has the same faith as you? Somebody who has a similar temperament to you and all that kind of stuff? Because clearly they're clashing because they are just so different. Does it sound like an excuse? Sure, but it's valid nonetheless. From the beginning, they should not have been together because of this big fundamental difference. Why they both, I put this on both of them, why they both thought that this thing would not become an issue in their relationship is beyond me. Angelica and Aaron meet with Angelica's parents. Honestly, there wasn't too much to get from that, except something that her father said. He said, my child is non-committal. In more words, but that's what it boils down to. She finds somebody, thinks he's great, finds a problem, leaves him alone. And this is a cycle for her. So she says, well, this time around, it's different because this man calms me in ways that I haven't been calmed before. But your big problem that you have with Aaron is the fact that he's just so calm. So he gives you something you've never experienced before and you're reveling in it. You love it. You're soaking it up. But it's also the reason why you don't want to be with him. That's interesting. Anyways, they have another date. Aaron says that he knows without a shadow of a doubt he loves Angelica. And he says something that would have perked my ears up. He says, I don't know if I'm right for you, but I know you're right for me. Hold on. What the hell do you mean by that? I know it's supposed to sound romantic. Like, listen, I don't know about you, but for me, you're the one. Why aren't you sure about you being the right one for me? Like, I would have questions. That's the same thing to me as when people say, oh, I don't deserve you. You deserve better. I know there's a guy out there who would treat you like, okay, well, let me find that person. What am I doing here wasting time with you? What do you mean you don't know if I'm the right person for you? But you know that, hold on. What do you mean you're not sure if you're the right person for me, but you know that I'm the right person for you? I don't like that. She was flattered though. So, okay. She says there's nothing that they can't handle and she's excited for their future. She asks if he's scared and he says, I'm not scared for the future, but I do worry that you are going to switch up on me at the altar. She says, that's not the case. I'm not going to do that at all. And technically, she's not lying. More on that later. At the dress and suit shopping, Joanna and Daniel are noticeably not in attendance. The girls still sound to me like they're looking at Joanna as more of the person to blame. And I really need answers at the reunion because for us, seeing Daniel in his entirety, I can see why Joanna doesn't want to fully give herself to Daniel. He is scary man. But I guess similar to like the little glimmers that I was seeing with Daniel, maybe that's all the girls see. And they hear Joanna talk about her past and being stuck in her head sometimes and admitting that she does project because of past hurt. Maybe they think she's the one who's not allowing herself to open up, but also Daniel doesn't give her a safe landing. So why would she open up? I don't know. That's interesting. But it sounded to me like they were still looking at Joanna as the problem in this relationship. We see Rania open up about the fact that she's not confident at this point. She's not feeling the feelings that she thinks she should feel at this point. I'm literally putting on dresses and I don't feel like a bride. Granted, the dresses that she put on, it was not suiting her whatsoever. It just did not look nice. So I can see why the dress isn't really inspiring you. But also, there's something wrong in your relationship. Lars Eric feels the same. He's like, listen, not confident whatsoever. We're supposed to be further along. And I feel like I try. I'm at my wit's end. I'm always trying. I always try in this relationship. I always try in previous relationships. So at this point, I'm going to put the ball in her court. And if she wants to keep going, then cool. If she doesn't, then I'm going to bow out. One of the reasons why he says he feels like she's not trying is because in the pods, she was very affirming. She was reassuring. She made him feel like he could conquer the world. Whereas now on the outside, that's not the feeling that she's giving him. And it makes me wonder, like, even in the pods, he was just going off of vibes with Rania. With Danette, there was a bit more of actually seeing if they were compatible. But with Rania, it was like, oh my gosh, you're such a great time. Oh, you make me laugh. You make me whatever. And now here we are. She's unable to do that for him. And now the relationship has just gone to the pits. You should have been looking for more than just she makes me feel good. She affirms me. She makes me feel like I can conquer the world. Those things are great. But when she's unable to show up for you in that way, what else is holding your relationship? At some point, we have to know that love is not enough. Not enough people think that way. We then see Joanna and Daniel meet up. They obviously did not go to the dress fitting. And Joanna says, listen, I needed a break because I had a very unnerving interaction with Daniel. Daniel, on the other hand, believes that they had a great time after the engagement party. They ate kebabs and then something else happened. And then he says that he's the one who had to take a break. I don't know if I misunderstood that. Somebody please correct me. But he said that he's the one who had to step away from the relationship. But Joanna had already decided to step away from the relationship because we saw the conversation they had and it in fact did not go well. He also did this in the pods when Emma broke up with him. He was like, no, I am ending this. It's not her. Like, I already decided. Like, he's such a weirdo. So in this conversation, Joanna is like, listen, I cannot be myself around you. I'm not allowed to express my emotions without feeling berated. I'm not allowed to talk about my concerns without you thinking that I'm attacking you. I'm not allowed to challenge you without you feeling like you have to come back at me, 10 times harder. Like, this is just not working for me. He says that there were good moments that they should be able to hold on to. And she says, unfortunately, the bad outweighs the good. So she does say there were good moments, but the bad outweighs the good. This makes him cry. I don't even know at this point if the tears are real or not because he be crying a lot. Like, he be crying a lot. But either way, she's thankful for the time that they shared. But she says, listen, not for me, not for us. It's not going to work out. In as much as I do think Joanna did have a wall up, she does admit to that. I don't fault her for not fully letting Daniel in because he wasn't a safe space for her. And he admits that too. He says, could I have been more emotional? Yeah, I could have. He even consulted AI to ask, how can I be more emotional? Oh my gosh, for the love of God, go speak to a professional. You're talking to Chat GPT? You talking to Gemini? You talking to Claude? Gronk? Be so for real. Yeah, this man needs a lot of work. I do feel like Joanna also needs work. If we're looking at the pods, there are things that there are things that she should have been concerned about, even from the pods, but she turned a blind eye, probably because she just got dumped by Ibrahim. Her friends were telling her, no, don't give up, don't give up. So she latched on to anything that seemed like a good enough situation, not realizing that she wrote Daniel off for a reason. She wrote him off and then reignited things because things didn't work out with somebody else. There's a reason why it didn't work out. You weren't getting that emotional vulnerability even from the pods. So to be shocked that this is what's happening now, I mean, granted, I didn't expect him to be this manipulative emotionally. I didn't expect that, but he definitely wasn't being vulnerable from the pods. There wasn't enough for them to latch onto except for their love for Australia and wine. Please. Lars Eric says he has reached his breaking point, so he wants to talk to Rania to see what's up with her. Lars Eric was realizing, yeah, this girl definitely doesn't rock with me because she says her love language is physical touch. She doesn't want to touch me. She barely wants to be around me, so something is wrong. She says, yes, your faith is a problem. She's hesitant to say it because she says every time she brings up his faith, he gets defensive, which is true. We're even seeing it in this conversation, right? So they have a talk about their kid potentially being gay. She says, where do you think gay people go? Do they go to hell? And he's like, I can't say that. That's up to God, right? I can see why this annoys Rania because she wants a definitive answer. She wants him to stand on something so she can say categorically, yes, our values align, or no, our values don't align. She hopes that her kids will be loved unconditionally by her partner and not be discarded because they don't fall in line with what God wants for us or something like that, right? But realistically, if you are a Christian, you do understand what Lars Eric is saying. He says, I can't put anybody in a heaven or a hell. That's not up to me. If I do believe in God, in a deity, he has the final say. I'm not somebody to do that, right? She says that she's not okay with the ambiguity. I understand it. I do. But this is why I said in an earlier video, I think it was the last one, objectively, Christianity doesn't align with her beliefs. There might be some intersectionality, but overall, they're not the same, right? From that rationale alone, I think she should have left him alone. Because Lars Eric is trying to say, I don't identify with every single thing that every Christian church aligns with. I have my own convictions, but he also can't fully explain those things because at the end of the day, God has the final say, and she's not okay with that. Why did we even get this far? In the next conversation, she says that they like each other. Like she likes him as a human being, but there is no love there. And if there's no love, there is no marriage. There was a scene where Lars Eric started to cry. And he said he missed his mom because his mom would give him the unconditional love that he's looking for in this moment. If you thought marriage was just going to be, oh, I'm going to love you through anything and everything, all the incompatibilities, all the mistreatment, all the whatever, because I love you unconditionally, then you were not ready for marriage. Vows alone are conditions. There are conditions to loving somebody in a marriage, and those things are what determines whether you should get married in the first place. We gave vows, which you can consider as conditions. So then he's going to say, oh man, I really thought that I had found my soulmate. No, you didn't. You did not think that, because if you are a Christian, if you believe that God is the crux of everything you believe in life, right? From the time he said, I know that there's a plan that God has for me, and then there's a plan that I have, and I'm going to take the plan that I have and hope that it's not a lesson. From that point, you would have known this is not my soulmate. I'm just doing whatever the hell that I want to do. And it's okay to say that. Like this man, he likes to, and I don't want to comfort anybody's beliefs. I feel like Christianity is a personal situation, so that's between you and God. It's just interesting to me how he frames his life around Christianity, but when it comes time to implement Christian beliefs, he's like, he fails. And it's so confusing. You knew if God was to pick a partner for you, it would not be Rania. He admitted this. But then you're going to turn around and say, oh, I thought that I had found my soulmate. Then he's going to say, you know what? This could be a Job testimony. If you don't know who Job is in the Bible, it's a man who was faithful to God. The devil asked if he could tempt him. And God said, as long as you don't touch his life, right? So he got rid of his kids, his livestock, his job, his friends, everything but his wife. Job was still faithful regardless. He got all those things and then some back, right? The difference between Job and Lars Eric is that Job was faithful throughout. Lars Eric just does whatever the hell he wants to do. And it's okay. Like, it's okay to say, listen, I wish I could stick to my Christian principles more, but I just want to do whatever I want to do. Don't make it seem like God put you into this situation. No, he didn't. And it's okay to admit that. But, all right, things didn't work out, thank God, because this was going to be a dumpster fire. Fast forward to the Bachelorette party. Not too much going on, except Angelica's friend, she's at the forefront a lot. And now I have my suspicion eyes because y'all told me that Angelica's friend is a big influencer over there in Sweden. We seen Angelica's friend the most. She's talking the most. I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? So basically, they're talking about how great Aaron is and all that stuff. And she says, listen, he's an amazing man. I have no issues outside of the fact that he's so calm. I just can't deal with how calm he is. The friends say, you don't need this excitement that you're constantly chasing from your partner. You have friends for that. It's okay. Like, God forbid a man is measured. God forbid a man is grounded. God forbid a man doesn't come with drama. But according to Reddit, that's not the case. People are exposing Aaron, like ex-girlfriends. They're saying he's not as sweet as he's coming across on screen. I don't know. But the point is, the Aaron that we're seeing and the Aaron that Angelica is complaining about would be somebody that you should want to get with. She wanted somebody who's established and whatever. But she can't take the fact that he's emotionally regulated, that he's a calm person, that he's not a flight risk. I don't understand. She's later going to talk about the fact that she can't be like goofy and whatever with him. And okay, I do get that. Maybe that comes with time. Like even with me and my husband, like, whew, guys, our sense of humor was not the same at the beginning. And there was a lot of offense until we got to know each other more. And now we understand each other's humor. You're mad because he's calm. You want him to pop off. And then when he pops off, isn't that going to be a problem too? Angelica, please. We learned a little bit about Ibrahim because Angela is talking about Ibrahim's preferences when he came on the show. He didn't want somebody who lived in Stockholm. He didn't want to be with a singer because he's dated singers before and it hasn't worked out. He didn't want somebody with a lot of tattoos. He didn't want somebody with piercings and stuff. And then he got with Angela, who lives in Stockholm, who is a singer, who has a lot of tattoos, and who had a nose piercing that she took out because he didn't really like it. And she's like, honestly, I don't really notice it anyway, so it didn't bother me to take it out. Why the hell did you get with her? It's like Jordan and I forget the girl's name, Amber. It's like Jordan and Amber. He was like, oh yeah, don't know about somebody with kids. Don't know about somebody who's going to ask me to move. Don't know about this. Don't know about that. But then you go and get exactly what you didn't want to be matched up with. How does that make sense? And they too got married. Rania ends up showing up to the Bachelorette party for whatever reason. I don't know. She talks about Angelica's opinion of Aaron. And basically, this lady can't stand him. She's like, yeah, for days and days and days, she was talking about how this is not going to work out. It's not going to work out. He's too big for my car. He's too big for my apartment. I don't have the money to change all these things. Like, it's just not going to work out. It's not going to work out. I'm like, number one, is Rania a hater or something? Like, what's happening? Because we do know that she really likes Aaron. And number two, why would Angelica go this far with somebody who she basically cannot stand? She wonders if people are constantly going to judge them. She needs approval all the time regarding her relationship. She herself doesn't think it's going to work out because he's just so big and whatever. He's not her typical type. He's just too calm. Oh my gosh. Why did we go this far? Then here's Angelica's friend again. chiming in, talking about, I wasn't really sure about the process of Love is Blind, but after seeing you and seeing how much you glow, I believe in this process. And the reason why I think this is suspicious, it felt like an ad placement. It was like, let me endorse this show. I'm an influencer. I have a following. Let me endorse this show. And it wouldn't be lost on me if that's what the show was trying to do, because they literally have 3 episodes on Netflix. It's not even like an extra exclusive thing you could find somewhere else. 3 episodes on Netflix of influencers reacting to and endorsing the show. I'm questioning Angelica's whole existence on this show. Like, was this a platform thing for you? You're coming off more of a flight risk than anything. So I don't know if this is going to give her the desired response, but okay. Anyways, Angelica talks to Angela and she asks her, hey, did you have any doubts at any point? Angela's like, no, I'm solid on this guy. And she's like, no doubts? No doubts at all. It's like she's disappointed that Angela wasn't in the same boat as her. No, she actually loves the person that she's partnered up with. You don't like Aaron. Just admit it. Ibrahim and Angela are the first to have their wedding. She is absolutely certain about the decision to marry Ibrahim while he's spiraling a bit. He feels like not enough time has passed for him to make this decision. And that reasoning always blows my mind, because everybody knows that Love is Blind is a short process. So if you felt like you're the type of person who needs more time to come to this kind of decision, maybe then don't come on the show. I don't know. He sorted it out, but still, that rationale just always blows me. Like, yeah. And that's why you have to be so deliberate in the pods, to make sure you comb through every conversation possible. And even more so when you come into the real world, like, you really have to do your recon, because you don't have a lot of time. You really don't. So he's like, listen, you had more time to get married. Didn't you have absolute certainty when you got married to your person? Why is his friend going to say no? His friend is going to say, even with the timeline that I had with my wife, I still wasn't 100% sure when we got married. So yeah, you're not going to know absolutely everything about the love of your life. Even in marriage, 30 years in, you're probably going to learn some new things. My parents are almost 40 years married, and my mom still says, well, that's a new development. Like, I did not know this about you. So yeah, I don't know what Ibrahim's talking about here. But anyways, they walk down the aisle. She sings the song again because she hopes that it's going to help him say yes. This time the lyrics are a little bit different and they have some instruments behind. It was cute and all. And it actually did help. I was a little concerned because they were playing something that sounded like horror music before he said yes, but he did say yes. Now, I'm concerned if they're still going to be married come the reunion, because like I said, similar to Jordan and Amber, they said yes, knowing that there were so many logistical things that just weren't lining up. So we'll see. Do I have faith? Not really. Not really. Speaking of not having faith, Angelica, as soon as she walks into her bridal suite, she starts to cry. She gets emotional. Her friends come in to comfort her. Ranya's there, but the influencer friend is not. Isn't that interesting? Again, she brings up the whole calmness thing, and the friends are like, okay, listen, there are things you're not going to like about your partner. That's normal. It's not going to be 100% every single thing about him is amazing. You're going to get annoyed. You're going to get frustrated. But love is imperfect, and that's okay. But then I'm like, you know what? If this girl is talking about this thing that you find irrational, but she's harping on it so much, let's not peer pressure her into getting married. It started to feel like peer pressure to me. Yes, it sounds minuscule in the grand scheme of things. They're talking about how great of a man Aaron is. Like, he's a good guy. Anybody would be lucky to be with him. You should be lucky to be with him. If she doesn't feel that way, let it be that. Just let it be that. So sure enough, we see her go and talk to Aaron. And she says, I do love you, but I don't think I love you to the point where I'm ready to get married. This man is annoyed. And I can't blame him, because he said, don't you dare switch up on me at the altar. And here you go, switching up. She's like, no, I'm not switching up. I do love you. And he's like, I don't understand how you could say that you love me, but you can't see yourself marrying me. How does that make sense? I also asked you, are you going to change your mind at the altar? On a technicality, she didn't. They're not at the altar. But either way, he had this fear. And she knew If she was going to get to this point and say no, the chance of reconciliation was going to be zero, because he's not going to go this far and have you say something after you've been affirming him all this time. And he actually says that. He was like, so the time when you're lying next to me and you're telling me you love me, you're telling me I'm the most beautiful person you've ever been with, all this stuff, did you even mean that? She says, yeah, I did. I did mean that. And I do love you. I just don't love you to the point where I can say we're getting married. Anything she's saying, he's not buying it. He's not impressed with her at all. And I don't blame him. Clearly, she's had all these issues about him. She didn't want to be honest about it. It seems like she was venting to other people more than she was to him. When they did have their altercation that we did see, he wasn't even sure what she was upset about. And we as the audience are still unsure what she was upset about. She finds these little nitpicky things to be irritated with him by. And it's like, girl, okay, whatever. If you didn't want to be with him, you should have cut him loose a long time ago, because he had options. He did. Well, I guess the issues that she's having were things that she only saw outside of the pod. So fine. But from the time that they were in Greece, cut it off. Shut it down. I don't know why you would drag him to this point. Thankfully, she didn't do it at the altar, which I feel is always like a humiliation ritual. But still, I understand Aaron. I would be pissed off with her as well. But hey, at least she didn't pressure herself into marrying a guy just because everybody else said that it was a good decision to do. If she wasn't wholeheartedly in it, then get out. Absolutely get out. I would love to see what other people are going to say about Angelica having seen the relationship in its entirety. I also want to see what people think about Daniel, because Daniel presents one way in front of people and a different way to Joanna. Yeah, and then I also want to see Ibrahim's rationale for proceeding with a relationship that he had so many issues with himself. Oh, right. And there's that other couple too. I don't really care too much about that other couple, to be honest with you. And I also want to know from Rania and Lars Eric why they thought their misalignment regarding God wasn't going to be a problem. Yeah, those are the questions that I need answered on April 2nd, which is when we get the reunion. So until then, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.